Oh
Okay,
no.
you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna quickly start over here. Welcome
Make a
everybody.
poll.
Now finally, because you can hear me.
Oh, a hard reset.
Oh,
I'll be very.
reset.
We're gonna
Reverse,
we're gonna
reverse.
hard reset here. Thank you for being so patient, everybody in the chat. Renee, thank you for telling me you couldn't hear me, or so I would have kept talking because I can't see the chat. Welcome everybody, episode 27. I am not your host this week, but I'm just doing this over again. I'm Power Grudge, aka not Jim, or I am Jim, not Tony. Joined by Tony and Harley. They're good.
Yeah,
They're good.
they're
I,
they're okay.
Why don't we just do every episode like this? Oh man. Anyways,
what a
continue.
disaster! This has been a disaster in the
Hey, you know what?
making.
There's different parts with
Content.
Oh no, why not open that?
and for everyone watching live right now, I usually do the OBS side of things, but Jim's trying it out this week, so this is just some growing pains.
And
But
now we
I
know
think
to
that was
never
really the
let
only
me
issue.
do this again.
No, I think otherwise it's completely fine. I think we're good
Okay.
otherwise.
Now you know.
So
Yeah, now we
Now
know.
you're on the horse.
so this
That's right.
week, thank you everybody in the chat again. Apologies. I was playing Resident Evil 8 this past week. I think it only came out 3 weeks ago now. No, 2 weeks ago. Anyway, I beat it this week.
2 weeks. Yeah.
So, all in all, I gave a long spiel without my audio on, but
Do quick reviews on the run.
the long
That's a throwback.
Oh man, I missed that show. The long and short of it is, it was a great game. There's lots of great improvements, mostly with the inventory management system and the actual tone of the game. I really liked. I didn't mention this before, but I really liked the tone of it. There's one section, about 2/3 of the way through the game, I'll say, that all of a sudden it feels like a different game, not in a bad way. A good thing. Lots of different, mini changes to stuff that I really appreciated. The game I had it on PC, so the game ran well. I can't compare it to the Xbox One version. I only played the demo. But I'm sure that one runs fine too, from based on what I played the demo. God, I feel like I'm rushing through this again. I really like the characters. I really like just how everything fit together. It was a great continuation of 7. I'm excited to see where the series goes from here. I'm being very brief. Everybody who's listening right now, again, apologies. But overall, I'd say I would give Resident Evil 8 like a good 9.6 out of 10. I kind of want to play through it a second time, but I don't know if I will right away, only because I made an effort my first playthrough try and do as much secret hunting or collectible stuff as I could, just so I can get to Mass Effect, which is going to be a huge undertaking to get through those 3 games in a row. And I'm going to do all the DLCs as much as I can for those games. But yeah, like I would recommend it to anybody who's even mildly curious about playing Resident Evil, or the newer games at least. I know, and I know this is kind of like a common issue with some people, but the older style Resident Evil games before they kind of got more popularized in like the third person over the shoulder stuff with 4. I know people don't like the tank controls, and I know people weren't like a fan of that style of Resident Evil. And then like 4 kind of jump started this whole other kick that people liked. And then 7 started all that over with first person. So I think I will say, for people who are just mildly curious about this, just go for it. And if you don't even want to play 7, there is a small recap of 7's story before you start 8. But I would recommend going through 7 as well, because 7's just a really good game too.
There you go. Very good.
There you go.
Pretty good.
And for the G Fuel
All right.
stuff, I was having PewDiePie.
You're having PewDiePie. Harley's having peach rings. I'm having peach rings. That's what I just mixed.
I've been playing
Inspired me.
Mass Effect. I've been playing Resident Evil 8. Played a mix of games, as Harley said. Yeah, I think we're all caught up now. Okay.
Yeah, for the most part.
Perfect.
I think we're good. So let's get into Infinite Watch. Are you going to play the clip, Jim, or are we going to do no clips?
I will. I'm playing the clip right now. Good to go.
All right. So, for Infinite Watch this week, we have absolutely nothing. Roll the clip.
Oh.
No, we have one very, very small thing, and it's absolutely nothing still. But the news is that there's no news this week, but the Inside Infinite update that's going to happen next week for sure, because it's on the last Thursday or the last Friday of every month. I think it's the last Thursday of every month. It's going to be all about Halo Waypoint and how they're improving Halo Waypoints, not only on the browser, but also a new dedicated app for Halo Waypoint for Halo Infinite. So that's exciting. I've always liked Halo Waypoint. I think it's a really cool app on the computer, but at the same time, it'd be nice to have like the Halo app that you can download on your phone and quickly get to your stats and customize your Spartan and look at your daily challenges and talk with friends and do whatever else you got to do that's anything Halo related. So it sounds like next week we're gonna get some updates on that, which is pretty cool.
Cool.
But other than that, that's all we got. Like, there's no real news for Infinite right now, and I think that makes sense because we got some pretty big pieces of news last week with those new characters, and now we're really only a few weeks away from E3. So I wouldn't be surprised that aside from next week's Halo Waypoint update, that it's going to be radio silence on the Infinite front for a little bit. But I'm excited to see what this new app looks like.
Did you ever use
And
Halo
that
Waypoint,
concludes-
Harley, or no?
Hmm?
Did you ever use Halo Waypoint?
Yeah, like way back, but not recently. No.
Yeah, I didn't even. Okay, this is me playing dumb, but I honestly didn't really even think they kept like updating it past when like MCC launched, because I know Halo Waypoint. was
Yeah,
still a
no,
thing.
they have been, but it's still kind of dated, so definitely needs a refresh.
I get you. Okay.
Yeah, but it's still there. It still works. That's it for Inside Infinite, or Infinite Watch, rather. Roll the clip.
Cortana.
Goodbye, John.
You're good.
Cool. Let's get to some news and some current events. Not much to talk about this week. Our main topic, Starfield, is going to have some stuff. Sup, Proficient Chat? It has those Halo Wars 2 stats. Yeah, it does have Halo Wars 2 stats. That's one of the good things about Halo Waypoint. And it actually has a good amount of stuff for Halo 5 as well. But I mean, it's still limited, so they really do need to update it. Hoping the new app is nice and sleek. But speaking of Halo, we do have some other Halo news, and this is all about the MCC. And that is that we have different colored and variationed energy swords coming to the MCC, which I think is just such an awesome idea.
Ooh.
So, like, you know how the energy swords are usually blue? They're going to have a green energy sword, a red energy sword, like a purple one that has, like, it looks like blood's kind of flowing through it. Like,
Oh,
it
that's
looks
cool.
awesome. It looks awesome. And I'm like, that's such a good customization idea. Like, how nobody's going to, like, not like that. So that looks really cool. Also, some new Elite armors coming with it as well. But in the next season for MCC, we'll be getting those, which is awesome. As well, with MCC, and this is the very, very exciting part for me, is that Halo Combat Evolved's graphics are getting updated to look closer to the original Xbox release compared to the PC release that the game is currently porting. So for those who don't know, Halo Combat Evolved obviously came out on the original Xbox, and then when it was ported to PC, it was actually Gearbox Software who made that port. And the game actually does look visually a little bit different in very minor ways, but it's actually pretty, like, when you look at them side by side at certain parts of the game, you're like, wow, the PC version actually looks a lot worse than the original Xbox version. It's crazy. So it's they're going to be updating CE's graphics to, obviously it's still based off the Gearbox game. They're not going to completely just take that game out and put in the old one, because I'm sure that would just break the game. But they are updating it to more closely mimic the original Xbox release, just in terms of lighting and foliage and stuff like that that's happening. So I'm pretty excited about that personally.
That's pretty
Jim,
cool.
I know you played a lot of the PC port.
Yeah, the PC port was kind of how I got into the first Halo proper. I had played it on the Xbox, but the first Halo game that I truly owned was the PC port. I had to beg my mom to buy it. But yeah, I remember also back then, hindsight being 2020 now, like, I never thought anything of the graphics looking worse. But yeah, I don't know. There's something, I know, like, there's some poor PC ports of games, and I wouldn't consider that one poor, but definitely the Xbox version is better, I will say.
Yeah, it's the superior version. So nice to see that they've recognized that that's an issue and that they're starting to fix it. And again, MCC just continues to get better and better. Like, I don't know, man. What a comeback story.
Oh yeah.
What a comeback story. Like, it's crazy, dude. You think about all these comeback stories that Xbox has done recently. Like, obviously the Xbox One got revealed, TV, Connect, always on, internet, no used games, they completely turned that around, obviously, and especially with the Series X now, where it's the most consumer-friendly console out there, backwards compatibility, Game Pass, everything that it does. And And then you think about like MCC launched, completely broken, didn't work. Here we are 7 years later, I want to say. And it's one of the best games that you can buy on Xbox or PC at this point, and it's such a just awesome collection of the Halo games. It's the best way to play them at this point. And then even a game like Sea of Thieves, which came out, not much content, really fun, but not much content. And that game has just continued to grow and grow and grow over the years, and now it's continually one of the most popular games, not only on Xbox but also on Steam. So yeah, more good stuff coming from Halo and Xbox here, which is awesome. All right, boys, let's get into some more news. We were speaking about Resident Evil Village a little bit ago, Jim, but you had some quote from a developer about the combat used to be very, very different, right?
Yeah, so to quote the developer exactly, says, quote, basically the combat was terrible. So Resident Evil Village was being developed, obviously, before the pandemic hit. And that kind of put a hinder on progress, obviously. It kind of, there's a making of video. I think it comes with Village in the bonus menu once you beat the game. But I have yet to watch it. But from that video, apparently the development team struggled to get the game into a state that everyone was happy with. And COVID-19 obviously kind of had a hindrance on that. And according to director Morimasa Sato, quote, development came to a complete stop at Capcom due to the self-isolation caused by COVID-19. And work, end quote. Plus it says, work on Village stopped for a whole month. So that can be, that can impact the game quite a bit when you just stop dead for a certain amount of time. And when everyone came back to the office, everybody kind of agreed that they needed to change the game as a whole, really. So they showed a demo version to a group of, like a focus group. And they noticed that, quote, the enemies were very aggressive, but the players found they didn't need to think that hard while playing because of this, end quote. So apparently this kind of garnered a really strong negative reaction, and, quote, the game's content was completely divorced from what the development team thought they had made, end quote. People also indicated that there were too many enemies and they were overly aggressive while not having enough ammo to defend themselves. They said project manager Tatsu Isoko described, sorry if I'm butchering the name, described playing the game as, quote, a real slog, end quote. And I find that kind of funny because I think the gameplay in 8 now, like what it became, is stellar. So I can't even imagine, what this game was before and like how it played. Maybe I'll have to watch that video to see if they show any like beta or alpha footage or something. But yeah,
does Village play very similarly to 7?
Pretty well. Like what? Not exactly 1-to-1, but yeah, if you've played 7 in a general sense from a gameplay perspective, you've played 8.
Interesting.
Yeah, like the game.
I wouldn't call the
plays
combat
same.
in 7 fantastic.
No, that's the one thing I find better in 8 is that everything just feels a lot. I mean, I also play it on PC, so maybe the mouse and keyboard has something to do with it. But
yeah, it might.
Everything just felt crisper. Like it's not really too different, but it just feels like they tweaked it quite a bit, which I find I appreciate that quite a bit.
Yeah, I just have trouble hitting headshots. Like I don't know. I have a lot of trouble lining that up, and obviously Resident Evil's combat's just different than Halo or COD, but it just feels kind of a little clunky compared to a game like Halo or COD or Doom or anything else that we play. It's just like, oh, this is weird. So
since 8's more combat focused than 7, I'd say you can definitely feel the tweaks that they've made.
Okay, that's good.
But yeah, that's the end of that story. Anyway, Harley, any thoughts? Have you seen anything about 8 yet or no?
Yeah. I've seen like screenshots here and there, like when they get popped up in my feed. Yeah, I totally relate with Tony's with like the combat. It's so different from what I'm used to.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd definitely like to see how you say it was tweaked. I'm curious about that.
I don't even know if the demo's still available on consoles or not. I think it stopped being available a day or two after the game launched. I might be wrong. If the demo is available, the one because there's two halves of the demo. And I think I talked about it when it initially came out the demo. But the one half's more combat heavy, so and it's not like Resident Evil 7 where the demos were like unique experiences that were separate from the game. The two separate gameplay demos for 8, I should say, sorry, are actual just chunks of the game. So yeah.
Hmm.
There you have it.
Moving on. We got some news that I thought was pretty interesting. And that is fact that Overwatch 2 competitive scene is changing.
Hmm?
Carl, you got the deets on that.
Yeah. So, uh, the developers released some information. I think yesterday, I believe it was, or
Yeah, there
actually, it
was a
might have
big
been
gameplay
yesterday.
thing yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah. So they revealed that PvP will no longer be 6v6. It's going to be 5v5. And so that means that team composition, how it used to be two support, two DPS, a main tank, and then an off tank. So now with the 5v5, they've gotten rid of that off tank slot. So what what Blizzard said was that they wanted to reduce the amount of players because they were feeling it was a bit too chaotic and it
Hmm.
was a bit too hard to keep track of everyone on the map. So they thought by eliminating two players, it'd make it a little easier, more simple. Um, able to make better choices. Possibly, highlight players' actions when they succeed and stuff like that. Give them more room for that. But people are thinking that now that tank meta is going to change because a couple of the tanks in Overwatch 1 have shields and some of them don't. So they're thinking now, unless they change the heroes a bit, you're gonna start seeing like a pretty strict meta for tanks all around shields.
Yeah.
Where someone like Roadhog, who doesn't have a shield, but he heals and stuff, right?
Yeah.
But like a Roadhog versus like a Reinhardt, like
Oh yeah. That's a shitty matchup.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And since you only have the one tank, so some like tank players are kind of nervous. And they're kind of thinking, but they did show in that stream that they did change Zarya's bubble, I think, to have two instances. So maybe they'll change more champions to have a more balanced field for the tanks. But yeah, I thought that was interesting because I
Yeah.
remember we played quite a bit of Overwatch in its heyday.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, and that's really interesting for me because as I pretty much exclusively played tanks because I thought it was the easiest thing to do. I'm really bad at
Mhm.
DPS. I'm not a good healer, so I'm like, here, I'll just stand here and get shot. But
Yeah, get shot,
yeah,
take some
put up my
hits.
shields and like I really liked Roadhog too because with Roadhog I wasn't the
Hmm.
main tank usually. There'd be somebody else, right? So I'd be like, okay,
Yeah.
well, I'll go and I'll basically just be a DPS, but I'll suck up some damage too, and I'll self heal and I'll kind of just take care of myself, which I
Mhm.
liked. But that completely changes the meta. If Roadhog all of a sudden, you know, like what does Roadhog
Yeah.
do at this point? Do you
What it
buff his
yeah.
health? Do you give him some kind of shield? Do you maybe like nerf the shield that Reinhardt has or other shields so they're not as effective? Like maybe that's a strategy. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? Like maybe the shield, like
Yeah,
because
like
Reinhardt's shield is pretty good, right? So like if you nerf
yeah,
the
right?
shields, maybe it makes the other tanks more effective. I don't know. That's interesting. It's interesting, man.
Yeah.
There was a lot of memes about Overwatch
Mm.
2 when it came out or when all that stuff broke yesterday because it basically looks exactly the same as Overwatch 1.
Oh, yeah?
It's funny. Like, yeah, they're like, oh, look at the new Reinhardt skin or the what's the dwarf name again? The turret guy?
Uh,
Tol,
Torbjorn.
Torbjorn? Yeah. Yeah, I think it's that. But they showed him like, ooh, look at him in Overwatch 2, and everyone's like, it's the same thing as Overwatch 1. It's a skin. Looks like a different skin. Which begs the
Yeah,
question, why does Overwatch 2 exist? I don't know.
yeah,
But
it's
it does.
interesting.
It is, man, because like, why didn't you just update Overwatch? I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah.
But it is a
Hmm.
new game from Blizzard.
Yeah.
They haven't put out a new game in a while, right? So it's something. Speaking of new games, Harley, there was another Back for Blood trailer. Am
Oh.
I reading that right?
Yeah. So Back for Blood, for those who don't know, it's it's a more complex Left 4 Dead. It was made by the studio who actually made Left 4 Dead,
Yeah.
but they had split from Valve, and so now they're making their own game, Back for Blood. And this new trailer introduces the playable characters. They're known as cleaners, and they each kind of have their own like special abilities, and they have their own like traits. So like some like for example, Walker increases damage and team health, while precision kills will increase accuracy. There's a character named Mom, adds an extra support inventory slot, adds one extra team life, can
That's
instant
funny.
revive. Yeah. So
Gotta have mom.
there's 8 yeah, there's 8 characters, and it's like so they're unique, whereas in Left 4 Dead, it was more like a skin. Like, everyone played the same.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't like an ability or something like that.
They just had
So
different
they're
voice
kinda
lines. That was it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, so they're adding kind of like a, I don't know, like RPG, I guess, kinda style to it. I'm assuming that you can, even probably level these characters, rank up their skills, probably stuff like that. Um, and yeah, and they introduced a couple new, like, unique, infected. There was, a tank-like breaker, the snitcher, the ogre, and the hag. And so there was also, like they also mentioned that there's more to come. So it seems like there's gonna be quite a few unique enemies that you're gonna have to face that have their own little their own little play styles and weaknesses and such. But yeah, I thought that was cool. I'm really excited. I really wanna try, Back for Blood. Looks like a lot of fun.
It's a good time. Looks like a great time. I feel like we'll all be pretty into it. I don't know.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I think so too.
Good time. The extra special infected is a good thing because how many did Left 4 Dead 2 have? There was
Um,
there's the
Left 4
original
Dead
ones, which were
2.
what, the boomer, the smoker, the
Mhm.
The witch.
hunter, I think,
The
which was the guy who jumped on your
hunter.
back.
Yeah.
Um, am I missing one of the special ones
The
from the first game?
witch.
Oh yeah, witch, right? But you couldn't play as a
The
witch, but
tank.
oh yeah, tank. Yep. And then in 2, there was the guy with the massive arm, the one massive arm.
The charger.
Charger, yeah. There was
The jockey.
Jockey, yeah, that was a new one. Was there another one? There must have been.
Oh, the spitter.
Spitter, yeah, Spitter.
Yeah.
So that's 8. I just counted 8. So yeah, I
Mhm.
mean, I think the more variety, the better there.
Mhm.
Oh,
It just
absolutely.
makes
Yeah.
it, just makes it different than fighting. Oh, there's another
Yeah,
boomer.
change
Oh,
it up.
there's another jockey, whatever, right?
Yeah,
Like
right.
if you have like 12, 14, 16 different types, I'm being wishful thinking here, right? But that would be awesome because
Sure.
that would keep things really fresh and interesting, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So hopefully that's the case. Um, Pivoting gears a little bit into movies, there was a Borderlands movie update, Jim.
Yeah, so it's no secret that there's a lot of star power going into this Borderlands movie. You have director Eli Roth, who directed the Hostel movies. You have Jamie Lee Curtis, another big name in there, involved.
Hmm.
So just a little thing that Randy Pitchford, who is the head of, well, I don't know if he is now. No, he would be. He's the head of Gearbox Software.
still is. Yeah.
For better or for worse, opinions of him
Yeah,
aside.
he's a special case, man. He's an interesting not very good person in my opinion. But go on.
So he apparently is very hands-on with the movie. So he tweeted on the 20th, which was yesterday. Well, Jamie Lee Curtis made my eyes well up today on set of Tannis's Lab, and she wasn't even acting. So Cliff Bleszinski, who I think we're all familiar with, who, for those who don't know, if I might even not be familiar, he was the God, and I can't remember now. He was like
Basically, just think of him as the guy who created Gears of War.
Yeah, I was trying to remember his title.
He's the mind behind Gears of War.
So he said, "Love how hands-on you are with this." So Randy Pitchford replied to him on Twitter and said, "My whole thing is to just give these expert filmmakers everything I can give to help them make the best, most authentic video game film adaptation possible. This team and this talent is just incredible. Eli Roth is leading a really amazing ship here, Cliff." So there you go. So apparently, Randy Pitchford has quite a bit to do with this Borderlands movie, which I guess is pretty good. I mean, if it's his company's game, you'd think he'd kind of want a bit of a say. And again, opinions on him aside, it's not like he doesn't care about this. Clearly, he cares enough to, be this involved. Which and again, it's Randy, so whatever. But this actually kind of makes me feel pretty good. I mean, I don't know if I'll watch the Borderlands movie, truth be told, unless it's like supposed to be really good.
Oh, I'll watch it.
Just because, video game adaptations in the past, like, there really aren't
like the Monster Hunter movie.
Like Tomb Raider, which I don't know how good or bad that is. Like Assassin's Creed, like Far
Prince
Cry,
of Persia,
like Prince of Persia.
Actually, that wasn't so bad.
What about Sonic?
Okay, Sonic was great, and Detective Pikachu.
Yeah.
To be fair, both awesome movies.
Yeah.
Both awesome.
There is hope though
hope.
for this, because if you look at the cast for this, man, you got Cate Blanchett, Cate Blanchett, Jamie Lee Curtis, Jack Black, Kevin Hart. Which I don't care about Kevin Hart, but whatever.
Jack Black,
Bobby Lee. Like you have a lot of people. Like Jack Black is playing Claptrap, but yeah, like it's just I guess it's his voice, but it's just cool to have so many names I actually recognize. You know what I mean? It's not just like I don't mind unknown actors. Don't get me wrong, but apparently this movie is shaped up to be something kind of interesting. So there you go.
Sounds interesting. Yeah, I mean, I'll have to see a trailer and see if I don't know. I could probably tell from the trailer if it's going to be good or not.
Yeah.
But,
actually, hey, we don't know that, because you remember when Borderlands originally had its trailer and it was not cel shaded and it was played pretty seriously, and then it changed into something completely different. So maybe the trailer won't give us enough. I don't know. I've always been skeptical.
Well, you would hope that the trailer is indicative of what Borderlands became and not what it was.
Could you imagine if they just made the first Borderlands trailer again? Or they made the movie that tonally that. I think I would punch Randy Pitchford right in the balls.
It'd be Mad Max, but like D tier Mad Max. It'd be awful.
Yeah, no guff.
Sonic was 10 out of 10 Superfish. You're right. Great movie. Way better than it had any right to be. Sonic was awesome. And I think that they did the right move in reanimating him to the new style, because the old style actually creeps me out. No word of a lie. The old Sonic that was there, I was like, what the? He looks too human,
Yeah.
And it was just okay, this is weird. But yeah, when they reanimated him, it was perfect. But also, we missed a couple comments in chat here. Superfish in regards to Overwatch 2 said, at least they did not change something, otherwise it would have been. At least they did change something. Sorry, otherwise it would have been the exact same. Yeah, you're right. I mean, they didn't just reskin it and plop it as Overwatch 2, but right now it's pretty damn close to that, aside from the changing the 6 to the 5. So I think that's the issue with what people are having right now. It's well, you could have just done this in the first Overwatch. Why does it need a sequel? And the answer is money. You're right. Okay, Fox, you're right. The answer is money, but still. Yeah, moving on. Little piece of news here, Jim. The Normandy from Mass Effect is in No Man's Sky, right?
Yeah, so there's an event going on right now in No Man's Sky, and this actually kind of got me interested in maybe hopping on just to get it, and then probably never playing No Man's Sky again after that. But there is a crossover event until May 31st. So to get the Normandy, you have to complete a new mysterious expedition that appears recently in the game. No word in this article about what the actual event is, but on No Man's Sky's website, The developer said, quote, "This is a lovely little Easter egg moment and something hopefully no one was expecting." Also, Sean Murray of Hello Games, who developed No Man's Sky, said, quote, "Like everyone else, we've seen rediscovering the amazing universe of Mass Effect through the release of the Legendary Edition. So it chills every time I see this incredibly iconic ship warping in, and was delighted to see so many people have the same reaction." So that is something cool there. I don't know if, yeah, I'm assuming you can fly it, but yeah, so you have, I guess, as of recording this episode, another 10 days to get the N7 Normandy into your fleet in No Man's Sky.
Very cool. Lastly, before we get to Starfield, Titanfall is having some DDoS attacks, right, Harley?
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Apparently,
We were just on there.
We were
happened
playing
before,
last
too.
weekend, which is crazy too.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
I was just thinking about that. Maybe I I can't remember because I have so many like lag problems in games. But do you guys remember if I had like really bad lag at some point, or we all had really bad lag, or we got disconnected or something?
I honestly, I can't. I thought it was pretty
Can't
smooth on my
remember.
end.
I think there was one game where you DC'd or you didn't join in
Yeah.
the lobby or so, or like we were searching and then you didn't end up being in the game or
Okay.
something like
Yeah.
that.
Yep. Oh wait. So apparently this has happened before. Um, but yeah, so people are DDoSing single players, like so say they'll just start DDoSing a player, so they lose, like the enemy team loses the player. They're targeting streamers and content creators. So if someone's streaming Titanfall 2, they're having problems playing the game because well, they just get DDoSed by stream snipers. Um, they're saying players are being isolated or unable to play the match past the opening cutscene. So you know when you get out of the ship, um,
Yeah.
the aircraft,
Yeah.
and you like jump down. So I was watching the guy's video where he shows like a compilation of streamers and content creators where like you jump off the aircraft and then it's just like people are running in place and stuff. And they're looking at their ping because when you like show the scoreboard, you can see your ping. And they're getting like 3,000 ping, 4,000, and then like within like 30 seconds or so, they'll just drop out of the match. Um, so yeah, it's happening to Titanfall and Titanfall 2. Um, I think it's more so, it might be more so Titanfall 2, but a modder was they made a like a free streamer mode mod that hides players' names. But then he was saying that since people have started using the mod, hackers are simply just attacking the server that streamers play on. So it's just kind of like I'm glad I don't think we saw any of that. I'm pretty sure we didn't see any of that. So I'm glad we didn't experience that, but it sucks for like content creators and streamers for that to happen
Yeah.
because there are some of the people that are really kind of promoting it and stuff like that. Like
The
I
game
don't
live.
know. Yeah, right? Like they're getting viewers in, you might just pop on Twitch and see a stream and get in the mood to play some Titanfall, but you know, if you see that, like what are you gonna think? So Respawn tweeted yesterday, "We are aware of a new wave of DDoS attacks affecting Titanfall games the team is investigating." So apparently the Titanfall servers are currently down as the investigation into the attacks is underway.
Oh, they're fully
But
down,
it's
eh?
Oh, wow.
apparently, yeah.
Crazy. Must have been pretty widespread then.
Yeah. It's sad to see.
Yeah, it sucks.
It's
Especially
like
because
they're just
Titanfall 2 is like such a fun game.
it's such a fun game. And apparently there was some Titanfall content introduced in Apex Legends. So
Yep.
so maybe there was a little bit of I don't know what you'd call that, like
Like a,
cross promotion.
like a resurgence
Yeah, they
almost.
experienced a pretty big boost with that.
Yeah, right?
When with the Titanfall stuff. Yeah, lots and lots of players were flocking to it on Steam. You saw the daily numbers jump off the charts for it when that happened.
Yeah, and then this happens. It's a shame to see.
Hopefully, it can bounce back enough. Like, I hope this doesn't discourage people from like totally avoiding Titanfall 2, or Titanfall in general, and it probably
I
will,
hope
which
not.
sucks, but hopefully not.
Yeah. It-
Well, I'll say this: if you haven't beat the campaign, they can't DDoS you off the campaign.
yeah, there.
So play the campaign. It's literally
It's like
3 hours, and
It's like
it's
3 hours.
incredible. It's incredible. You have to beat it, Jim. You have to beat it.
I'll get to it. Don't worry.
It's like one afternoon, one sitting. That's all it is.
Yeah, one sitting.
It's literally a
Just
one
bam.
sitting campaign, and it's amazing. All right. Well, I think that's all of our news. So let's get into the main topic, which is Starfield. Oh wait, hold on. Before that, we have CyberWatch.
All right, I'm rolling the clip. Hang on a second.
Wake up, samurai. It's time for this week's CyberWatch.
So I initially had a different story for CyberWatch, but I ended up digging a bit and I found something I find interesting. So do you guys remember earlier this year, probably for a good few months, this like the beginning of the year, when all these different class action lawsuits were coming out? There was like 3 or 4 separate ones from different people, saying different but essentially the same thing about the game, that they were lied to and there's false advertising, it's unplayable. Do you guys remember that?
Yep.
Yeah.
So it turns out that 4 of these Cyberpunk 2077 class action lawsuits are going to be rolled into one big suit against CD Projekt Red. So, and that's what I thought too when I read it, which is pretty cool. Not cool. I shouldn't say that.
It just makes sense. If you have 4 different cases arguing the same
Yeah.
thing, they'll just roll it into one, right? Because the judge doesn't want to rule on something 4 different times.
Yeah, and it's actually CD Projekt Red that announced this.
Well, I think legally they have to.
Yeah. So one argument from the representing party, Rosen Law Firm, states that Cyberpunk 27 was virtually unplayable on last-gen consoles, which we knew that already, while PC players had the higher praise for it because it worked well. I still find it kind of crazy in my head that you still can't buy it on the digital store for PlayStation.
Yeah, it's nuts.
It's been, 7 months now? 6 months? I think 6.
Well,
No.
it's crazy because you can't even buy it for the PS4 Pro, which runs the game perfectly fine.
So like that's just like, I don't know. I find that totally
bizarre.
heartbreaking in a way. I mean, in a way it almost makes sense because as these new hot fixes and these updates come out for Cyberpunk, it still like introduces new problems for the game, and I'm starting to get the feeling that Cyberpunk's like just it's never gonna quite get there. It's gonna move forward and it's gonna get bigger fixes done, but like it's still just like not quite gonna work great. And I have a funny feeling that it's gonna be quite a long time, if ever, that it'll come to the PlayStation Store, because I don't know at what point do you deem the game playable, because like I said, they can fix certain things, but then they introduce in some cases like save corruption, or they'll introduce like fatal errors in the game, which they could get fixed too, but then like what other issues does that represent? So it's such like I used to always have it installed on my PC just in case like I would dive back in, because I really was enjoying my time with it when I played, because I had the PC version, so I have like the higher end of it. But I think I'm starting to, I mean, I also uninstalled it a while ago, but I'm just starting to kind of in Harley's case in a way, I'm just starting to lose interest. Like I just don't really care anymore. Like I love doing CyberWatch, but I just don't care about trying to play the game anymore. I don't know. I kind of hope it gets to a place where I can actually play it, but I've moved on mentally to bigger and better things, I guess.
Yeah, Resident Evil 8.
Yeah, no guff, eh?
Mass Effect.
Mass Effect, Mass Effect's impressing me a lot, but we're not
Disco
talking about Mass
Elysium.
Effect. Oh baby. Anyway, I'm gonna conclude. Tony, you have any thoughts on this actually before I conclude?
The only thing I'll say is I would wager that it'll come back on the PlayStation Store, specifically for PS5, once the next gen patch comes out. That's about
supposed
it.
To be, is that the summertime now? Or whenever?
It's the fall. We
Oh.
don't know when. It's in the fall, so it's well. I'm in the same boat as you, man. Like I don't know. I'll wait for the next gen version to come out at this point. It already runs. It runs well on my Series X for sure, but I just know that if I wait, it'll be better. And I did like what I played of it, so I'm just kind of at the point. It's like I'll just put this aside. I can play other things. It's fine. And when the time comes, I will jump back in. So
Nice. All right, let's conclude with the sound clip.
That concludes this week's CyberWatch. Move along, civilian.
And there you go.
all right, now we'll get into Starfield. So we had some Starfield stuff going on this week. Mostly rumors, but rumors from very credible sources who are just straight up confirming them. They're saying this is happening. They're not saying it might happen. They're saying it is happening. So the first rumor comes way of Jeff Grubb on Twitter, and Jeff Grubb is a notable industry insider. He's a pretty smart guy. He does this thing on YouTube. It's called the Summer Game Mess. It's pretty funny, where he basically just like collects everything he knows and he just throws it onto like a big whiteboard, like a digital whiteboard. But he's just like, this is what I know what's happening, and it's just a mess, but it's fun. But yeah, he's a good guy. He's gotten a lot of stuff right in the past. If he's saying something, generally you should listen because he kind of has the insider knowledge here. He confirmed this week that yes, Starfield is exclusive to Xbox and PC. He said that before. He was kind of like unsure. He said that this week. He's like, I wasn't really sure before, but I have since confirmed, yes, it is exclusive on Xbox and PC. So big news there. If he's saying it, I'm pretty much believing it at this point. Obviously, it won't be 100% until they announce it, but this dude's legit. So that is big. That is big news for Xbox. That is a massive exclusive. For those who don't know, Starfield is the first brand new IP coming out of Bethesda Game Studios since Elder Scrolls, which is nuts. Because technically they adopted Fallout, right? So their only two games are Fallout and Elder Scrolls. This is their first brand new game since then. So pretty crazy. And on top of that, we had Jason Schreier kind of chiming in on Twitter as well. And Jason, say what you will about the guy, he's a bit of a wiener, but he also knows what he's talking about. And he said that, yes, I don't know him personally. I shouldn't say that. That's just my impression of him. I'm a bit of an asshole. But yeah, no, I am. But he was saying that he was seeing a lot of I guess rumors and talk about Starfield coming out this fall as one of the big fall releases for Xbox. And he told everyone to quell their expectations. It's 2022, and that we're going to learn about the release date at E3. He doesn't want to spoil it for the developers. That's their moment. But he said, don't get your expectations up. It's not this year. So that was kind of the big Starfield news this week. So to recap, exclusive on Xbox and PC and coming out in 2022. I think this is really interesting that this game has so much hype and we haven't seen a thing yet. Well, I shouldn't say that. We've seen like a cinematic trailer and I think we've seen like a screenshot or two.
Yeah, I know we
But
had
we
that
haven't-
initial teaser that
Yeah.
it was just like a star.
And I don't.
It sounds stupid. It was just a Starfield, and the logo came up. So.
Yeah, it was nothing. It was nothing. Exactly. We haven't seen anything. And it's funny because when I remember in one of the first, I think it was the first video after Xbox announced that they were purchasing Bethesda, there was a round table with Phil Spencer, Major Nelson from Xbox, Pete Hines, and Todd Howard from Bethesda. And they were talking about it, and Major Nelson said, getting a lot of fans' questions about this. What's going on with Starfield? He straight up asked that. And then Todd Howard said, I think it's getting a lot of hype for a game that nobody's seen anything of yet. And I kind of laughed at that. I'm like, you're right, man. Like nobody's seen a thing, and this is the most hyped up game right now. It's crazy. And like, are we getting into cyberpunk territory? Do we need to quell our expectations here and be like, okay, let's just wait to see what this is? Obviously, it's a very, very talented studio. They make Fallout. They make Elder Scrolls. They know what they're doing. One of the premier game development studios in the whole world, in my opinion. Like they're one of the top ones out there, but we haven't seen it yet. You know, so I'm personally, and we'll go around the table here, and I'll get your guys' thoughts on this. But I'm personally cautiously optimistic about this. I think that it obviously has potential. There's a great track record with the development team, and they've clearly taken their time with the game. It's a big deal that Xbox has locked it up as an exclusive for Xbox and PC. That is a big deal. Don't get twisted on that. And personally, don't care too much if it's coming out this year or next year. There's lots of games to play. In fact, it's just more time for Halo Infinite for me, so that's okay. Harley, let's go to you, man. What are your thoughts on Starfield, exclusive to Xbox, PC, and 2022?
I'm definitely. In the beginning, I was like really hyped because I really like Bethesda games. I loved Skyrim. I
Yeah.
loved Oblivion. I loved Fallout. Like these are all games that like I've just like strived to like 100%. And I have done for many of them. But it's like, so yeah, like in the beginning, I was like super hyped. Like, like, like you say that name, and it didn't click right away. Like it's kind of
Yeah.
like I can't.
Like, what
Like,
is
I
it?
don't remember any of the I don't remember any of the teaser stuff or any of the screenshots or anything. So, um, I would say like my beginning hype has like died down. So, I mean, would I have liked it to come out this year? Like possibly, but I'm not like upset. It's just because I'm an impatient person, personally. So, but yeah, like I'd rather like to see like some stuff about it because, like you said, we don't know anything. So
Yeah, we haven't seen it, man.
yeah, I'd like to see some stuff
Yeah,
before I get hyped again.
exactly. Jim, what about you, man? What are your thoughts on Starfield, Xbox and PC exclusive, and 2022?
So it doesn't totally surprise me if it is going to be an exclusive. Like my first thought when Bethesda was bought by Xbox, was so like, what's the first big exclusive going to be? Would it be Elder Scrolls 6? Would it be Starfield? Would it be the next Fallout? I mean, I kind of expect Elder Scrolls 6 to maybe kind of be in the books for being on both systems, but Starfield, again, we don't really know anything about it, really. We know it's going to be a sci-fi game. I'm assuming so. That's all we really know. We've got the teaser, whatever. Um, I don't think it'll come out this year at all either, similar to what the dude was saying. Only because like Bethesda games, they kind of take a while to kind of go through its motions and all that. Like, well, when did they say Oblivion came out, and then Skyrim was already kind of in development as Oblivion was coming out, so that took a good 5 years for that to come out, right?
Yeah,
Good 4 or
Oblivion was
5
what,
years.
2006, and Skyrim was 2010, I
2011.
think. 2011. Okay, so yeah, there we go.
But yeah, so like I don't expect to really see much. Even at E3, I don't expect to see anything past, let's say, like concept art. I don't see anything super
Really,
concrete.
you think we only see concept art?
I don't know because again, we don't know anything about this game, right? I know like if we get like a cinematic or something cool, but I'm not expecting anything on the level of like, a full gameplay demo or something, or like a gameplay trailer. I just kind of expect, Bethesda with all the Elder Scrolls Online stuff. It's not directly their studio. It's, I can't remember who does it, but
Max Online.
thank you. Like, they're all like CGI trailers and all that, so maybe we'll get something like that. But when you were talking before about if we're getting to Cyberpunk levels of hype, I don't think we're close to that yet. Only because again, we haven't really seen much of it. So it's not like with Cyberpunk, they were hyping that game like holy
Right.
hell for
They
at
had
least
that
like a couple
trailer.
of years.
Well, yeah, we've
Yeah,
seen so many
that
trailers. You're
cinematic
right.
trailer.
Yeah.
Well, I remember the reveal, like cinematic trailer, where it was with the girl in the rain with the blade coming out of her arm.
Yeah.
That was sick.
Even the Keanu Reeves thing, man, at Xbox's
Oh
conference.
yeah, right.
Sick,
Yep,
dude.
yep.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, Keanu Reeves was on the stage.
yeah.
Oh man,
It was so
you were
good, right?
breathtaking.
Yeah, you're breathtaking. Yeah,
Uh,
legendary.
So like we haven't gotten to that point yet, I don't think. Unless, Keanu Reeves comes up for Starfield as well, then that'd be a whole other
Could
story.
you imagine?
Oh my
I would
God.
laugh so hard. Oh man.
But yeah, like me personally, I love sci-fi stuff, so I'm on a base level, I'm really excited about it. But kind of like what you were saying, I want to be optimistic only because, I was initially pretty burned by Cyberpunk for like the first day or two because it was such like all the hype behind it, and then actually being able to play it on the base Xbox One, and it was like not playable. But yeah, I don't know. We don't know a whole lot, so I guess I can't like form a super strong opinion. But I'm excited to see what comes out of E3, and considering Microsoft and Bethesda have a joint conference, I'm hoping something cool happens there too.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it's I think it's pretty big news in that, obviously this Xbox and Bethesda deal just closed, so everyone was kind of wondering, like, when is the exclusive line drawn, right? Obviously, Deathloop and Ghostwire Tokyo were previously announced games and are timed PlayStation exclusives, and that's still being honored. But everyone was like, okay, so are some of these other games too far along that it's like, okay, they need to also come out on PlayStation? And I think that maybe Jeff Grubb coming out here and saying like it's exclusive to Xbox and PC, that pretty well solidifies it for me that nothing else is coming to PlayStation. Because why would it?
Yeah, yeah, I could see that.
Like even Elder Scrolls, even something as big as Elder Scrolls 6.
I will
Like
say
why
too,
would it?
man. Like, in the world of like PlayStation exclusives, like they get a lot of cool exclusives. Like it'd be nice if we got one that wasn't. I shouldn't say like not established, because like obviously Halo and Gears of War are like our big franchises we have, and Forza. But like it'd be cool if we had like something brand new on our console that, because when I had a PlayStation 4, it was cool to play God of War. It was awesome to play Shadow of the Colossus. It was cool to play The Last Guardian. Like all these games we couldn't play, it was just cool to play them. So not, I feel like I'm babbling on now, but I think it's just pretty cool that we could potentially get a
right.
new IP that's big. And especially since it's Bethesda and Bethesda's super popular, like they're pretty well established, and bugs aside, or it's not a bug, it's a feature stuff aside, like they're pretty well received. So it's nice to have a huge AAA studio potentially having something exciting that's just for us.
Well, yeah, and you think about Bethesda Game Studios who are making this, right? They make all the Fallout and Elder Scrolls games. Aside from Elder Scrolls Online, their one blip I would say is Fallout 76, and that game has improved tremendously since it came out. But at launch, that game was a mess, right? So that was their one blip. But otherwise, they have pretty much a perfect track record, right? Think about all the Elder Scrolls games. Morrowind. Obviously, I don't know too much about 1 and 2, but Morrowind, Oblivion, Skyrim, and then Fallout 3 was a banger. Fallout 4 was a banger. Like, I don't know. I feel like, I don't know, man. I feel like this is going to be pretty good. They have a good track record. It's exciting for Xbox fans for sure. Now, obviously, like exclusives are. I wish nothing was exclusive, but unfortunately, we live in a world where things have to be for business reasons. So if things are going to be exclusive, I want them to be exclusive on my platform.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that it is, and I'm also glad it's coming to PC because that's an out for a lot of people, right? You don't need to own an Xbox to play it, so that's a good option. I think that's the way it should be. I think PC
absolutely.
should always be the middle ground of, hey, you don't need to buy this console to hook up to your TV. You can always just play it on your computer. I think that's the perfect solution.
And like sometimes PlayStation stuff catches up, like Death Stranding came to PC
Yeah,
eventually. So
they've been
Detroit
doing
Become
that
Human.
like very, very recently. They've started to do that where they've been putting out some of their games a year, 2 years, 3 years after they came out on PlayStation on PC, which sucks that there's that much of a delay. But clearly there's just money in it, right? Like Days Gone, when it came out on PC, it hit top of the sales charts right away.
Didn't it just come out too?
Yeah, that's actually a story we could have talked about, I guess, but I didn't really pick it up. But yeah, Days Gone just came out on PC and it was number 1 on the Steam charts when it came out. So, clearly there's money to be had, right? So if you want to make money, put your game out on PC as well, and you can still have your console be the only console you can play your game, right? But have it on PC. So hopefully Sony continues to reduce that timeline. Like I don't like waiting that long, but it's nice that the games are eventually coming out. Hopefully all of them will eventually, but they're kind of picking and choosing right now. Like only certain ones are coming. But yeah, Starfield boys. I think I don't know. I think we see something at E3. I think we kind of have to. I think Xbox
when did that
needs to
teaser
come
out? That was what, a couple years ago now? A few years ago?
Well, yeah, nothing last year. It would have been the year before or the year before that, 2018 or 2019.
Yeah, I think when they were talking about Doom Eternal is when they showed the teaser for it or whatever. So
yeah,
I think I watched that conference live. Actually, now that I think about it.
Yeah, I think Xbox and Bethesda are gonna do. Obviously, Xbox is gonna have their showcase, and it's gonna be joint with Bethesda, because they're one company right now, right? Bethesda's owned by Xbox, so I'm pretty certain that Bethesda's gonna have a pretty big chunk of time during that Xbox show to show Starfield, to show maybe what's happening with Wolfenstein, because apparently Wolfenstein 3 is in the pipeline and pretty close to being done. Maybe they show Ghostwire Tokyo or Deathloop and they give us an Xbox release date on them. Elder Scrolls 6, unfortunately, we probably won't see anything of because they are working on Starfield first, but we know that game is confirmed. There's so many studios that came with that. Like, what's Arcane working on? What's Machine Games working on? What's ZeniMax Online working on? Obviously, Elder Scrolls Online, but
Yeah.
and there's a couple other games. I forget the other studio that they have, but they haven't made a game yet. There's a couple studios there. The one that was comprised of the former Prey developers, the original ones, but there's a lot to be shown there. So I think at E3 we get a pretty lengthy Xbox showcase. I think it'll be longer than usual, and I think Xbox gives Bethesda a pretty big chunk of the show to show what they're working on. And usually with Bethesda demos, like when they do a gameplay demo, it's usually pretty long. Like they won't just show you like 5 minutes of it. They'll show you like a 20-minute demo. Like what they did with Fallout 4, if you guys remember that.
No, I don't remember that. What happened there?
They basically announced and revealed Fallout 4, proceeded to do a 20-minute gameplay demo, and announced it was coming out that fall.
Oh shit! Nice.
They were like, "Yeah, Fallout 4 exists. Here's 20 minutes of gameplay, and oh yeah, it's
Oh.
coming out in a few months." And everyone's like, "Oh, what the f- is?"
Ah.
So I think I don't think Starfield will be in the same boat. I think Starfield's next year, but I think they'll show something pretty lengthy this year if they can. At the very least, I think we get a trailer.
Yeah, I'd be fine with that.
Yeah, just to like show us what it is.
Yeah.
What is it? Is it Elder Scrolls in space? Is it something completely different?
Ooh.
I don't know. I'm kind of I'm almost just expecting Elder Scrolls in space at this point. I don't know.
Well, that's what we would
like,
expect because Elder Scrolls Fallout is just post-apocalyptic Elder Scrolls.
Or do
right?
they
So,
or do they take a chance and maybe they tried something different?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, we don't know, right? Maybe they did. Who knows?
Actually, that almost brings me to because I know we were talking about, they had Fallout 3, they had Skyrim, and all these things are critically acclaimed. But I know Obsidian, who did Fallout New Vegas, the Outer Worlds kind of seems like
Oh yeah.
similar enough to maybe what Starfield could be in a sense. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Like well, did you guys ever play the Outer Worlds at all or no?
I played a little bit.
I played a little as well. I mean, I've been meaning to get back to it because I actually liked it.
Yeah, I thought it was actually quite good. But getting off topic here, if Starfield's along the same vein as something like that, I think I'd be pretty happy with it. If they tried something new, I don't know what they would try. If they tried like a third person something or other, I don't know. But I don't know. I think I'll be happy either way, no matter what happens, just because we'll be getting new info about it come E3. So
Yeah. Or so the story goes.
yeah.
Story goes that we'll get something. See what happens. But I think that's it for Starfield. Any final closing thoughts, or do we cover it all, boys?
I'm pretty sure I said my piece anyway.
Harley, you good?
Me too. I'm
Cool.
good.
All right. So quickly, what are we looking forward to playing this upcoming weekend? I know, Jim, you're doing some working, so a little different for you, but you do have a couple days off sprinkled. I think you have one on Monday, I want to say. But yeah, what are you guys
Tuesday.
looking forward to playing? Jim, we'll start with you.
Honest to God, if I'm not up to anything, which I mean, it's kind of hard to be up to anything nowadays, but if I'm not really up to anything, I just want to pump as much time into Mass Effect as I can. It's really nice. It's like half nostalgia playing through the first one again, but it's also in the other half of my brain like, fuck, this is a really good game. Like I'm really glad I'm playing it again.
That's so good.
It makes me want to like. It gets me excited to play through the other two even more, especially
the other two are
3.
so good.
Because
They're all so good.
I got like a quarter of the way through 2. I don't remember what happens now, but I got far enough into 2 where like I kind of got a feel for the gameplay and all that, and like it just got me excited for like what 3 entails, and it actually kind of prompted me to reinstall Andromeda for whenever the hell I have time to go through Andromeda again, because I got about like 8 hours into Andromeda, and I quite enjoyed it. So especially the combat,
More than me.
the combat, and the
Now the
movement.
bugs are done.
Yeah, like I think it'd be well worth a playthrough. But yeah, that's the only game I have in my mind. I'm still trying to figure out what I want to play on PC. I think I'm gonna play Max Payne 3 next, just because I finished Village, so now I got something else to go. So play that because I did the first 2 last year, and yeah, so there you go.
Nice.
It'll be
What?
What are you looking forward to playing?
Oh, it cut out.
Yeah,
so
I was just
heard-
about to
Oh.
say I didn't hear it at all.
I was
okay.
like, what? What am I excited to play? Whatever I'm playing with the boys, the fellas, the people, the friends on the weekend.
You guys are totally just playing Genshin Impact all weekend.
Oh, I'm gonna play a lot of it. I'm not gonna lie.
It would be the week. Oh, I should say I bought the Rambo pack on COD, so whenever I have
Oh,
time.
did you?
Oh, yeah.
I looked at the both
We haven't
the
played
Rambo.
that in a while. We should play some COD.
That'd be
Oh,
cool. Well, I mean, I won't
we
be able to
haven't.
until I guess Monday night, which no one else will be
Well,
on.
if you're down to play early, maybe we can get something going.
Yeah, it all depends on
Like
the time,
7?
but yeah.
Yeah, we can hash it out.
But what are you excited to play?
Yeah, kind of the same answer as Harley. Whatever we're playing this weekend, but also looking forward to getting back to Resident Evil 7 next week. Hopefully, a normal stream schedule. I think I'm more than halfway through the game at this point, so excited to finish it.
I can't remember
Nice.
what part you're in. What part you ended off at? Where'd you end
You
off?
spot
other
the
stream?
mama.
Yeah, you're probably about halfway through then.
Yeah. So
I don't
see.
remember now. It's been a while since I played 7. Or got far in 7, I should say, anyway.
All right. And with that, let's do the outro. Harley.
Oh, yes. I blanked. This is the end. Did you like this? Did you like it? If you did, subscribe, like, comment, hit that bell. All our socials are in the description, and you can find Tony at
Find me at Figure09TV on Twitter and twitch.tv/Figure09 for Twitch.
and you can find Jim at
If you just search Power Grudge, I'm on Xbox. I'm on Steam. Actually, I'm
Say everywhere.
I'm Dedicated Wham on
Everywhere.
Steam right now. But yeah, I'm.
Dedicated
If you
wham.
search my name on something, you're bound to find me, which is really stupid and vague to say, but it's true.
It's not. No, it's way better that you can do that. Just say your Power Garage and everything, and then Dedicated Wham on Steam. And you're good.
Oh, I had a sound clip, but I want to play it when you guys can hear it, so I'll wait on that one.
Cool. All right, and that's been this week's episode of Follow My Tracers. Thanks everyone for listening. Have a good weekend. Have a good long weekend. I think it's a long weekend for everybody. So have a
Yes,
good long
it is.
weekend.
Well-
Play some games, and we'll see everyone next week.
See ya. Have a good
Bye.
one. Boy.